So let me stray, please guide my way onto the path of my deen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah, I'm calling your name. Oh, Allah.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to another edition of your favorite program, Let's Talk. Of course, it's on your favorite program, or channel rather, Huda TV. And perhaps I'm biased, but I believe Huda TV is the best, the pioneer and the premier English language Islamic channel in the entire universe. So please continue to support Huda TV, inshallah. This evening we have a special guest. I certainly hope you guys benefit from this edition, inshallah. And we have some handsome young men in the studio audience to give us their thoughts and opinions as well about our topic, which is the blessings of Allah. Do we acknowledge them, or are we negligent of that? Do we fail to acknowledge the blessings of Allah on us? Let's establish that and talk about that this evening, inshallah ta'ala. Joining me is an Arabic teacher from Florida State University, a friend of mine as well, Brother Mahmoud Saeed. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you so much for joining me. I certainly appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Barakallahu feek. I also want to welcome our special guest here upstairs in the administration of the channel, Brother Muhammad Sami, who's upstairs now watching the program. We want to welcome him as well to back to Huda TV, inshallah. And of course, let's go back to the studio audience. And assalamu alaikum. You guys, thank you for waiting. Thank you for being here with me. I know some of you have places to be, like Brother Uthman. I apologize actually for keeping you so long, but thank you for being here, inshallah. Can we just start, can you guys just say your name and where you're from, starting with Brother Uthman? I already know Brother Uthman, but go ahead.
No. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam, brother. Say your name and where you're from.
No, my name is Usman Abdujamil from Nigeria.
Barakallahu feek, Aki. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate your time, brother. Barakallahu feek.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
My name is Nabil from Egypt.
Great,
Yeah.
thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
My name is Ahmad and I'm from Egypt.
Okay, brother Aki, wait a minute, but I haven't seen you in a while. Where you been? You've been
Sorry?
busy. I haven't seen you at Let's Talk in a long time.
So I have lots of work.
So, brother, what is your work? I believe I know, but I want the viewers to know.
No, I'm teaching Arabic as a second language.
Oh, great, mashallah. So I want you to hook up with Mahmoud, and he'll teach you about,
Yes, of course,
you share
of course
resources,
I-
inshallah.
Of course I do.
And if you guys need any help, I can help you guys teach Arabic as well. Thank you. Go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
My name is Ahmad Wahid. I'm from Egypt.
Barakallahu feek, Ahmed Wahid. I heard that you have some nasheeds for us.
Yes,
Okay, you ready to do it in this episode? Not right now, but in the next segment, inshallah?
inshallah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. I like your baseball hat. Go ahead, brother. Tell us your name and where you're from.
Muhammad Aiz from Egypt.
Barakallahu feek. Thank you so much, brother, for your time. And what about this young man? I haven't seen him before on Let's Talk. He's the first time, mashallah. Allahu Akbar. We have a new person on the set of Let's Talk. Everybody just really embrace his brother. Give him a warm welcome. Go ahead, brother. What's your name?
Assalamu alaikum. My
Alaikum.
name is Ahmad Ali from Egypt.
MashaAllah, brother Ahmed Ali. I need you to tell me a little bit about yourself for the viewers. Where did you go to school? Tell us a little bit about yourself. What did you study?
I am a graduate from the Faculty of Mass Communication,
MashaAllah.
Cairo University, and I work here at Huda TV.
Okay, that's my next question. So I'm going to stay with you, brother. I want you to tell the viewers what programs you work on, because mashallah alaik, you were doing a great job with us, and the programs that you're working on are really, really successful. I'm not trying to overpraise you, but I just want to mention that. So tell us, what programs are you working on?
Yeah, I'm working at Viewers Pulse with you,
MashaAllah.
at Living Hearts with Sheikh Zainuddin Johnson,
Okay.
and at the Straight Path Show with Brother Osama Shami.
Okay, so we're going to talk about that in a little bit later in the program, inshallah. Thank you, brother Ahmed
Inshallah.
Ali. I certainly
Thanks a
appreciate
lot.
it.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Brother Mahmoud, let's get to the topic, inshallah. The blessings of Allah on us. Perhaps many of us are experiencing difficulties and hardships in this day and age. People have a lot of difficulties in their life, perhaps in their day-to-day life. People are struggling with work and school and family life. I mean, some people might say, you know what, I don't know, or I don't see any blessings of Allah on me. I think that's something a lot of people might say. So what would your response be to that? Are we experiencing the blessings of Allah, or are we not experiencing the blessings of Allah?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. At the beginning, do at all do we have any of these blessings or not?
That's the question?
That's the question.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Okay, so I would like to go from the most general to the most specific.
Okay.
I think the most the greatest blessing to all of the humanity is life.
Of course.
So being alive or a living being or
Yeah.
any of these things is just the most
The biggest blessing
the
on
biggest
us.
blessing.
Before
Yes.
you go to the second point, I want to go to the studio audience. I mean, what is your opinion? Do you guys agree? I mean, just simply being alive, we should acknowledge that and thank Allah for that, shouldn't we? Any thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with this because it's a great gift from Allah for us to be here, to be alive.
Yeah, of course.
It's the start of the gift.
Yeah, of course. Of course. I couldn't agree with you
Subhanallah.
more. In fact, I had a friend. Go ahead, brother.
Actually, like look around and see how many people who died young, who didn't have the chance to practice more on their deen, or even if they were non-Muslims, they didn't have the chance to know more about Islam or even to convert or any of these. Look at the dead now. They cannot do any more good deeds to be
Yes.
added to their
Yes.
deeds. So I think that for me is the biggest blessing.
Yeah, simply being alive.
Yes, simply being alive.
And brother, I always cry when I tell the story, but now I can tell the story without crying. I had a friend who killed himself. He was not Muslim. Okay, he was not Muslim, but he was expressing interest in Islam. He was a good young man, intelligent, from a wealthy family, and he killed himself. It's very sad, wallah. It was 5-6 years ago, and I still remember to this day, because subhanallah. But like you said, being alive is a great blessing, subhanallah.
Yes, actually this leads us to the second greatest blessing, which is Islam. If he had Islam, he would appreciate the first blessing.
Yeah, subhanallah, great
If
point.
he had
yeah.
the second blessing, he would appreciate the first one.
Yeah, great point. And let's go to the studio audience and talk about that. I mean, many of us we take our Islam for granted sometimes, including myself. And I'm sure some of the viewers as well. I mean, how important is it to remember that Allah really honored us by making us Muslims? I mean, I think that's a huge thing that we forget about. Do you guys agree?
Yeah, of course. Maybe many of us who was born Muslim may take it for granted, but if you look around you, many other people who hasn't this gift. So, alhamdulillah, it's a it's a basic gift. It's alhamdulillah.
Yeah, it's huge, mashallah.
Huge.
Brother Ahmed, I think you want to say something. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I want to tell a story.
Go
I
ahead.
want to tell a story. Yesterday, someone called me from Nigeria. He is non-Muslim and he wants to learn about Islam. So at this moment, I say to myself, Subhanallah, yani, really, we are in a blessing when we born and found ourselves Muslims. Subhanallah.
He called you on the program?
Yeah, at
Which
Viewers
program?
Pulse. At Viewers Pulse.
La wallahi, was the
Yeah,
last episode?
before the life.
La wallahi.
Before we begin.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
Subhanallah, yani.
Yeah, excellent point. Thank you for sharing that. And a lot of us, we revert to Islam, okay, but then we didn't really take any action after that. We didn't acquire any ilm. We didn't try to study Arabic. We didn't really, and that's a great blessing to become Muslim. But many of us, we didn't, continue and try to better ourselves with regards to Islam and Islamic awareness and learning. So I think that's important. We have to acknowledge the blessing of Allah on us that we are Muslims, and keep that in
Yes,
consideration.
sometimes I was thinking, what if I was born non-Muslim? Would I ever think of being a Muslim?
That's a good question. Well, what's the answer?
Yes. For me, I say, as long as I know, I would. Because whenever I read any book about the miraculous Quran or any of these, I feel it touchy. And
Yeah,
I
mashallah.
find it makes sense to me.
Yeah, mashallah.
The last book I finished reading was the Miraculous Quran for Dr. Abdul Daim Al-Kahil, and I was touched. So many times I was like, where are these people who are denying Allah and His blessings? Come and read this.
Yeah.
Come and find how many miracles are found in the Quran, like 1400 years ago.
Right, of course, yeah.
That leads us to the second question, or the second blessing, which is Islam. Okay.
Right.
After this, we now agree on two things. We have the two most, the two biggest or greatest blessings, life and Islam, and this we will have some main ideas like having the life or Islam for granted,
Right.
or any other blessing.
Okay.
Many people who were born wealthy and healthy and
Yes.
and well educated and all of this, they take it as for granted.
Sure, certainly.
You should look at yourself as if you were born in any other society or community.
Yes. Social class.
You might have been the other person you don't want to be.
Yeah, right.
When I was in America, I found so many Egyptians or so many of my friends were kind of criticizing the behavior of Americans or of Muslims born and raised in America. My reply was to them as if you were born in America, you would behave the same way.
Yeah, of course. So your environment, right?
Yes. So don't take the blessing for granted. Don't take the blessing of being born and raised in a Muslim country for granted.
Yeah, and you know, I'm sorry to interrupt you, brother. I heard, I think it was one of our Shayuk here at the channel. He said, when it comes to the worldly affairs, look down at the person below you who's poorer than you.
Yes.
Okay, but then when you want to look at the deen, look up to the people who have more knowledge than you, and then you can have encouragement. Have you heard that expression?
Yes, actually that was my next general point. Is the first one is don't take it for granted. The second one is always look to those who are below you.
Right.
Whenever you see someone who's like richer than you, look for the poorer.
Right. To appreciate what you have.
Yes. If you are complaining about your old car, look for others.
Right.
Who do not.
With no car.
Yes, with no car.
Yeah, for example.
Yes, and I have read some kind of a short story about someone who was complaining all the time about having no shoes, and one day he was complaining about having no shoes to someone, and he told them, "I have no feet."
Subhanallah.
And then he started thanking Allah for having the feet.
Yeah, of course.
And one more, another story, someone who was always complaining about everything, every single thing in his life. He doesn't like anything he has, and he always complains even to strangers who do not know him. One day he was complaining to someone, and he told him like, "Do you see my left eye?" He said, "Yes." He said, I have lost sight in my left eye for 15 years, and so far no one knows."
Subhanallah.
I never complained about this.
Yeah, subhanallah.
Okay.
Thank you, brother. Let's go to the studio audience and talk a little bit. I mean, that's a little bit of human nature, isn't it? Sometimes we get pessimistic, and we don't appreciate the blessings that we have in life. We begin to take things for granted. I mean, I think we all do it to some extent, and it's part of being human. Do you agree?
Yeah, of course. You know, it's happened to all of us.
Yeah, of course.
You know, every one of us, each one of us, having many things in life, but they don't look at it like it's blessing. They look like it, okay, it's granted. Having a caring father and mother, it's granted. Having a good wife, it's granted.
Yes.
Even hearing the azan, they took it for granted.
Subhanallah. Yeah, like the brother mentioned, living in a Muslim country.
Yes,
Yeah,
I would like
that's a
to
great
comment
point.
on this because I forgot
Yes, this part.
the sound of adhan for a year. you
Yes,
know?
in Florida.
Yes, the first day when I came to Egypt, I was a bit sick because of the climate change and the weather. But once I heard the Fajr, I went to pray and I said it to my family. This is priceless. You know, this is very precious.
Yeah, subhanallah.
You never appreciate even hearing the adhan around you.
Yeah, great point. If we could go back to the studio audience, my question is, money doesn't necessarily equal happiness. I mean, wouldn't you agree? Sometimes we're focused on material things, and we count this as blessings. But like the brother said now, here in the adhan, it's not a material thing that you can hold or tangible, but it's something that's it's a great blessing. Do you agree, brother?
Yes, of course, and I'd like to add something. Do you know people who aren't Muslim, for example, and they have everything? Do you know they are very wealthy. They got money. They can visit any places they want, and they don't have the spiritual nourishment. And do you know lots of these people, they don't know what to do with this life, and they just gonna like you said, they just commit suicide.
Yeah.
Because they don't have a purpose or aim in their life.
Yeah,
And this is very sad. And if they were Muslim, I think they would change their mind.
Yeah, Barakallah Fik, like I mentioned, my friend, he came from a very wealthy family. He did commit suicide. It's a very sad story. It's very sad to think about this. You know, like perhaps Allah knows best what was going through his mind. But I mean, I see many blessings on the brother, you know, on the man, and he was a good man. But perhaps, you know, he didn't. You know, like I said, people sometimes are naturally pessimistic, and this goes back to the law of attraction, doesn't it, brother?
It does. Actually, I would like to share something with everyone. It's something called the law of attraction. Law of attraction is basically it's whatever you think about, you bring about. If you think about happiness, you will have happiness. If you think about sadness, you will have sadness. And actually, this is not like a philosophical idea or theory or something secular. We have this in our deen, in our religion. We have the authentic hadith that says تفاءلوا بالخير تجدوه. Like the translation is always expect the better and you will find it. You will find it. Okay.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So let's have an example for this.
Okay.
For example, if you don't want to go out because it's hot, is this a negative or a positive thinking?
Well, that's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Brother Ahmed? Is that negative thinking or positive thinking? If you're at your home, go ahead, and you don't want to go out because it's too hot, is it negative or positive?
Well, thinking like this is a negative.
What do you think, Ahmed?
I think negative.
Okay, well, okay.
Okay, we would like one more guest who thinks it's positive.
Right. Because maybe you can stay home and enjoy the air conditioning. You know? What do you think? What do you think, Nabil? You think it's positive? If someone said to you, it's very hot outside, so I will stay in my home. I won't go outside because it's too hot. Is it negative thinking or positive thinking?
Yeah, it's kind of negative thinking, You could go and enjoy this weather, It's hot, but you can enjoy it.
Yeah, you can go
Why
swimming
don't
or
you
do
enjoy
something.
it?
That's the positive thing.
Okay, right.
Okay. Even those who thought it's a negative thinking, even if they go out and it's just like 25 Celsius, which is cool,
Yeah.
okay, they will see it as too hot.
Okay, yeah. It's like the glass, is it half empty or half full?
Yes.
Right.
But Nabil, because he was seeing this as a positive thinking or a blessing or something that is good, no matter what, it gets hotter or like more moisture in the air or anything, he will just find it cool. He's enjoying the sun.
Right.
His skin is benefiting from the sun for vitamin D.
Yeah, right.
All of these positive things.
Yeah, okay. Instead of saying, it's too hot, I don't want to go outside. For example, you could say, look, at least we have the sun. We don't live in Ireland or Sweden where it's beautiful, but it's raining.
Yes.
Right, okay, yeah.
That's the idea. Did we change the fact that the degree is 25? No. It's still the same idea. But the difference is in how you receive the fact.
Right, okay, right.
Because they are thinking negatively, they received more of negativeness.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because he was thinking positively, he received more of the positive thinking.
And this is the law of attraction, which you're talking about. So I think it's very interesting. And you brought the beautiful hadith. I thought it was very nice.
Yes, تفاءلوا بالخير تجدوه, and another one is بشروا ولا تنفروا.
And what does that mean?
Always make the people in front of you feel optimistic and not pessimistic.
That's great.
So it's this idea again. If he wants to go out, I tell him like, just thank Allah that we have sun.
Right.
Others in Poland or any other countries of this North Pole, they don't see sun for months.
Right, and a lot of them become alcoholics and they become very depressed. I think you should be like a psychologist or something. You have a nice, positive, really nice, soothing voice.
I like this idea because sometimes I go out late from the house.
Right.
Okay. If I think of tardiness, I'll get more tardiness.
Yeah, sure.
If I think of just act on the situation you are having and act positively, I find myself acting quickly. Okay.
Yeah.
And once I just go out, I find a taxi coming by.
Right. Think positive.
I say to myself, if I would come out like 10 minutes earlier, I would still be waiting for the same taxi.
Yeah. Good point. But we're going to take a short break and we'll continue this discussion. Inshallah, you guys don't go anywhere in the studio audience. You guys at home don't go anywhere as well. Stay tuned for more Let's Talk.
How perfect my Allah is and I praise. Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi. Subhanallah. How perfect you are, Allah. Subhanahu wa ta'ala.
In a game of golf, both the caddy and the golfer have the same goal, to get the ball into the hole. Interest-free banking is similar. With a clear view of the fairway, a predefined agreement without shifting targets, things should end up where you want them. your deposits are safe, and your funds are ethically managed with a transparent and equitable approach to sharing risk and reward. No interest burden means more time to relax without the worry of nasty surprises. Rest assured, our interest is mutual. Jazz Bank, Nigeria's first full-fledged non-interest bank.
Subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah, I'm calling you.
Welcome back to Let's Talk. You guys, don't forget to check us out on YouTube and Facebook, and to support Huda TV on social media. Now even on YouTube you can watch this program live, or you can watch a lot of uploaded videos, so we're really happy about that. It's www.youtube.com/HudaTV. Brother Mahmoud, before we go back to our topic, blessings of Allah, are we acknowledging the blessings of Allah on us? I want to go to Brother Ahmed in the studio audience. Brother, I know you are the manager, the project supervisor for Viewers Pulse, for Living Hearts, and for the Straight Path, some of the most demanding programs that we have on the channel. So what is it's a lot of work, a lot of stress, a lot of pressure. Sometimes, things get out of hand, everything's going crazy and fast. MashaAllah, how do you deal with that? Do you look at that as a blessing, or do you look at it like, oh, this is my work and I don't want to do it?
No, I think it's a blessing. Yeah, there is a lot of stress. I agree with you. But there is a blessing when I'm here at Huda TV. I'm trying with you and with all the cast to produce something. I ask Allah. It may be a reason for some people to be Muslim as a reason.
Yeah, of course. For example, in Living Hearts, specifically, this is a really great show. It's going really well. What do you do for that program exactly? What do you do for Sheikh Zain?
Sheikh Zain, exactly, I am the producer of this show. Sheikh Zain choose the material, choose the clips he wants to use in the episode, and I helped him to choose these clips also.
Okay.
But I wanted to talk about something.
Go ahead.
When you talk about the blessing of Allah, I remembered a story. The past, someone lost his legs and his arms, and he was blind.
Yeah.
But he was still saying Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. Another one surprised, and he asked him, why? Why did you say Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah? He answered, I'm saying Alhamdulillah because of Allah, who give me a tongue, saying, be able to say Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, that's an amazing story. And Brother Mahmoud, thank you, Brother Ahmed. And Brother Mahmoud, it reminds me of a story. I was on the way to the studio. I saw a man on the freeway, what they call the Eddy in Egypt, right? So I saw a man with no arms and no legs in a wheelchair. He was praying Dhuhr.
Yes.
SubhanAllah, in the middle of the heat, it was so hot. So I said to myself, wow, I'm driving to work, I have my arms and legs, I'm very healthy, I'm complaining it's very hot and it's a long drive, and this man's on the side of the road, So this man definitely acknowledges
he didn't even think about praying Dhuhr, right?
Yeah, SubhanAllah. So now you see, this man is very aware of the blessings of Allah, so it's a great point.
And actually I have read one of the saying that say the people are asking for everything around them, but the sick people are asking only for help.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
Healthy people are asking for everything, but the sick people are
asking for help, subhanAllah.
Health only.
What about, let's differentiate between being greedy and ambitious in a positive and negative way, because, I know many people that work very, very, very hard for their families, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. There's nothing wrong, and, it's not like they're chasing after the dunya in a negative way. Maybe some are, maybe some aren't. So how can we differentiate between that?
Okay, let's have an example of someone who's making like $50,000 a year. Okay, this man, it goes back again to the idea of law of attraction.
Right.
This man, if he's thinking about the 50,000 as too low, and I'm not appreciated, I'm overworked, and all of this, he's not gonna make more.
Right,
and this will keep him from doing the best, to be promoted or to be recommended for another task or another job,
right,
which will make him make more.
Right.
But if this man thinks positively, he will be ambitious. Okay. Some people, when I say, do not always look at what the people have, they understand it as just stay where you are, never progress in your life, never do anything that is better than what you are doing now, this is wrong. What we mean by this is look forward to the best as long as you can do it, and don't forget, while you are doing this and looking for the best, be appreciating of what you have.
Okay.
There is no problem for you to seek getting $100,000 per year, okay? But the problem is, do not complain that you are having 50,000.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Don't forget this idea.
Right. Okay.
Some people are mixing between being over ambitious and not doing anything at all.
Right. Right. We have to have a balance. Okay. Yeah,
yes, you have to keep the balance and always keep appreciating what you have.
Right.
I would like the people. I would like to ask them to do two things. First of all, think positively, and second is, do not think negatively.
Yeah.
They are not equal.
Yeah, great point, brother. I mean, we have to keep a balance between, like you said, the dunya and the akhirah, and think positive, and do not think negatively.
Yes, and be ambitious, but don't be greedy.
Yeah. Okay.
Keep the balance.
Okay. What is this, like a commercial for Adidas or something? Don't they say keep the balance?
No.
This, okay. Now I want to go to Brother Ahmed Ali after the next segment, okay? But we're going to go to report back, and I'm going to ask you some tough questions. I want to thank Brother Uthman coming for us as well. Thank you, brother, for your time. I know you're busy. You guys at home, don't go anywhere. I know you're busy as well, but you're watching Let's Talk, so you can't go anywhere. You have to check out this report, bidnillah, and stay tuned to Let's Talk.
Allah, I'm calling your name.
It is a struggle and a strive for every Muslim to be able to achieve this noble character of being able to be satisfied with what Allah has given them and to realize the blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed upon each individual and upon us as a society and upon us as a human race. Allah subhanahu ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, the most merciful to all mankind, or the humans, or the world, the giver of mercy to specific people as well. He has not left anyone out except that He has given blessings to them. We call this ni'mah. And every single one of us here, every single individual, every old and every young, has got so many blessings that if you were to try to count them, really, and you thought about them, you'll not be able to finish counting them at all. But unfortunately, a lot of people today tend to count the blessings which they don't have. And that's a really wrong thing to do. We should not look at what we don't have, but rather look at what you do have. And if you do look at what you do have, you will end up being a person who thanks Allah night and day.
Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah, I'm calling you.
Welcome back to Let's Talk. Before we talk about that report, brother, and before we go to Ahmed Ali in the studio audience, I want to ask you, brother, in the commercial break, you were talking to our assistant director about changing the camera angles of the show. Why?
Because I like criticizing everything I have.
But you're not being positive, you're being negative.
I'm trying to make the good thing as to be better.
Okay. Okay, because what you're saying now, it's an awkward position for you to change back and forth like this.
Yes.
What was his response?
He advised me to go to Google something. I'll just Google it and get back to him. If I'm right, I'll make him to change the angle of the camera.
Inshallah ta'ala. Let's go to Brother Ahmed Ali, take his thoughts on the report, number one. Number two, now you're involved in a TV channel and you're working with people like Sheikh Zinedine Johnson. It's a lot of work, a long hours. Sometimes people don't appreciate it. Sometimes even people are arguing and bickering, because of the hard work that this takes. So how do you stay positive, and how do you keep in mind that ambitious? How are you ambitious in a positive way, not a negative way? Also, go ahead.
As I told you, Malik, if I work for someone, I may work 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, and I will not work after that. But if I work for Allah, I will still work, inshallah, till my death or my gun out.
Right. So you're looking at this.
I look for Allah first, then for people who are working with me, like you, Malik, like
Right.
Brother Osama Shami, like
Right.
Sheikh Zainuddin Johnson.
Yeah.
I'm trying with them to make the episodes or the programs more powerful, more effective.
Right.
We are addressing here the West.
Right.
We are addressing here يعني, who, to the people who are not Muslims. So we should work hard in order to give or send the right message of Islam to those people.
So basically, what you're saying, you work hard and you make sure that it's for the sake of Allah.
Yeah,
There's no contradiction in that.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
There's
I
no
certainly-
contradiction at all.
I certainly appreciate. Thank you,
Thanks
brother. That's
a
an
lot.
excellent point. You know, working hard for the sake of Allah, and you also have ambitions, and you can also, you know, try to get that higher job, like you said, for $100,000. You can try to buy that new car. There's no contradiction in that.
The most important things are keeping the balance between being too ambitious or greedy and being like the moderate ambitious person. The second thing is stop thinking negatively and start thinking positively, and they are not equal.
Right.
Some people, they are thinking positively, but they are still thinking negatively.
What do you mean?
I mean, sometimes when they like the idea, they think positively.
Right.
When they don't like the idea, they think positively, negatively.
Right.
So what I mean is, stop this completely and start this completely.
You know, what kind of effect? What kind of change will that have on your life?
It will change the angle from which you are observing events.
SubhanAllah.
The events are going to happen anyway. It's your
Right.
destiny.
Right.
Okay, but the idea is, how do you receive this?
Right.
For example, if someone had like a sick uncle or aunt or something, if he's thinking positively, he will know that this is his or her destiny. The disease or the sickness is fatal or something. So he is thinking like practically and
Right.
positively.
Right,
You know.
okay, right.
So the next step is he expecting their death.
Right.
Okay. So if this person dies, he will not be affected. He will receive this like better than his brother, for example, who was thinking negatively. My aunt shouldn't be sick at all.
Right. Right.
Okay.
The point is how you receive the news.
Yes, but so if his aunt dies, his brother will be done. Will be like very sad,
Right,
very
right.
angry about this, about the destiny, about everything. The other brother who is thinking positively, he might see it as a rahmah or a mercy from Allah that she's dead now because she's not gonna suffer anymore.
Right. Right.
That's the positive thinking. That's
Right.
what I mean. So some people keep going in parallel, thinking positively and negatively at the same time, and they are just swapping or switching between
Right.
both paths when they want.
Right.
No, the idea is completely stop this and completely
Start the
this.
other one. What some people say, look, I'm not being negative. I'm just being realistic.
It is, but all the bad things, they have good things in them.
Okay.
You know, this actually are leading me to the next points all the time. The next point for me was some people who are less fortunate for having something, and they are thinking this is the worst thing that could ever happen. Okay.
Okay.
No, 2 points. The first thing is there is always worse that can happen.
Keep that in mind.
If you lose one eye and you are just complaining, you will lose the other.
Right. Right.
Okay. If you lose one eye and you are satisfied, even if you lose the other,
Right.
you will be more satisfied.
Yeah. Right.
The event didn't change.
Right. Right.
Okay.
It's how we receive the
It's
information.
how you receive it.
Yeah.
That's one point. The other point is, even if you have something, there is a story that will sum this up. There was a king. He went out to the woods with his his helper. What do you call them?
The servant
Or something like this. All the way they were losing things and they were suffering and all of this, and the servant was all the time saying, Alhamdulillah, maybe this is good for us. Maybe this is good for us. And then one day he, at the same trip, he was suffering during his life.
Mhm.
Okay, and one day they had to cut off his toe. Okay,
Mhm.
and his servant said like, okay, maybe this is good for you. He said like, this is good for you, and he went mad on him. This is good for me. They just cut my toe and all of this. They went out on a trip, and there was a tribe, they kidnapped him, okay? They eat humans.
Right.
Okay, but once they discovered they had a toe that is cut, they just set him free because he's not like a sane human or something.
Right.
And then he told them, like, now, can you see now that this was good for you? If you didn't have this toe that was cut, you would have lost your life, the whole life. Okay, did you get this story?
Yes, I did, and I'm really wondering, I hope this tribe isn't located near our studios.
No,
I mean, I have all my toes, but... you know, we're going to take a short break, brother. We're going to go back to the studio audience. Brother Ahmed Ali, that's you, right? You're going to go ahead and sing a nasheed for us? Inshallah, I'm very excited about it. Brother Ahmed Ali is going to be doing some nasheeds for us. You guys stay tuned to Let's Talk.
How perfect my life, and I praise.
I really like the example he gives in that clip about the guy stuck in traffic. You know, he thinks that it's just, it takes it personal, which you know, brings us to the point that a pessimist is very subjective when it comes to negative things that happens in his life.
But for example, if you are talking to me about doing something good in life and you are on the bed of death, that you want to do something for your ummah. This is why we did this program, to make you get your achievable goals before you reach the moment that you will not be able to achieve anything.
SubhanAllah, if I may add, if I have a positive attitude and if I have courage, why it doesn't appear in all the problems that I face? Why it doesn't appear in all what I do in my life? Actually, because you are not responsible enough to control your mindset.
I was reading a study on New York government. They wanted to improve the crime rate. They wanted to lower the crime rate ultimately. And they found that in the subways there was a lot of graffiti, a lot of trash. And just by doing a little thing, like removing the trash and removing the graffiti and making a more clean environment, the crime rate actually lowered. So this shows the power that how little things can really make a big difference.
Subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah, I'm calling your name.
Welcome back to Let's Talk, you guys. It's like my personal soapbox. I might change the name of the program to Real Talk because we're talking about some really important things with some really important guests. And this evening was no different and is no different. We have Brother Mahmoud, mashallah, from the University of Florida State University, an Arabic teacher by trade and a friend of mine. Thank you for being with us on this program, Akhi.
Thank you for having me.
And you know, I'm in desperate need of some Arabic lessons. Brother Uthman is in my Arabic class, and Brother Ahmed Rajab is an Arabic teacher. And it's really, really a little bit difficult for me, brother. What advice do you have for people that are a bit pessimistic and they say, I can't learn Arabic, it's very, very difficult?
If they look at from if they look to it from another angle, they can see that Arabic will activate their mind and make it work, make it active.
Right.
And actually, I have heard this from a friend of mine. He was taking Arabic in the U.S. Army. Before they join the army, they have a test of like mathematics test or something like this, and the higher score you get, the harder language you get. And the two most hard languages were Chinese and Arabic.
That's interesting. What was the first?
I'm not sure.
Interesting, yeah. And they say it activates the right side of the brain more.
Yes.
And then it's like, I feel like I'm in a math class when I'm in Arabic class.
Yes, I have studied Russian, and I am in no need for Russian, but it was just to increase or improve my linguistic abilities.
I actually took a Russian class too. I dropped out. I'm not very strong. But thank you, brother, for sharing that. So the point is, for all these people struggling to learn the Arabic language, like you said, completely abandon thinking negative and think positive. And this is like the law of attraction.
You will,
And you mentioned
you will
hadith.
just start liking the language. If even you acquire 10%, you will be satisfied.
Right.
But if you think negatively, even if you acquire 70%,
right,
you will not be satisfied.
Yeah, of course, and like that's what I say as well. And even now, my class, I've only been there a week, and I already learned a lot, and so I'm trying to stay positive, although it's a bit difficult. I want to go to the studio audience, Brother Ahmed Ali, if we can give him the mic. This brother, a lot of people don't know him because he's behind the scenes, so they only know, people like myself who take all the credit because they're in front of the camera. They don't know people behind the camera work a lot, and so this brother's on Viewers Paul, Straight Path, and Living Hearts. But Sheikh Zain pronounces it Living Hearts.
Living Hearts.
Can you say it like Sheikh Zain?
No.
He has that Australian accent, right?
No.
So, brother, I'm ready for you. At what point do you want to sing the nasheed? I didn't know you were a nasheed artist, brother. Is that right?
I don't know nasheed.
You don't sing nasheed? I thought you were a nasheed artist. I got word that...
No.
There's an...
Brother Ahmed Wahid.
Ahmed Wahid. Oh, different. Let's wait. Maybe we can get it in. Or not. I'm not sure about if the time will allow us to do that. But really, I was surprised, brother. I thought you were, mashallah, I thought you were singing nasheed also.
If I know, I will sing. Really, I don't know.
Brother, okay, thank you, brother. Okay, I want to ask you a question now about the Arabic language, for example. That's something that's challenging for brothers like Uthman and me, that are trying to do something. Give us an example from your life, something that's challenging for you, and you maybe sometimes look at it in a negative way, but you're trying to look at it in a positive way.
When I went to the faculty, I'm not,
You were not satisfied with it?
Yeah. No, not satisfying. But when I went to the faculty, I went to the English section.
Okay.
At this time, I'm not in English good.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I told my father, I'm not enjoying. I'm not enjoying to enter the English section. He told me, no, you will enter the English section. You will, inshallah, get very high marks, inshallah, but be patient, and inshallah you'll be good. Yeah.
And the end result?
The result, I graduated from the faculty, and my grade is very good.
MashaAllah.
My GPA is 3.4.
Yeah, mashallah. And your language skills are amazing. That's very good.
Alhamdulillah.
Thank you for that, brother. Brother Ahmed Rajab, I know you're an Arabic teacher at Nile Center here in Cairo. You're in training and you're busy in this regard. What do you say to students, man, when they become frustrated, or perhaps when they get a low test score, or they want to give up? How do you encourage them to be positive? Or what have you seen your teachers do as well? What have you seen the other teachers do as well?
Actually, the student has to think big and to think what he needs from the language, to know what's his goal and how he can achieve it. And this will motivate him and will encourage him.
What about yourself? I know you're studying English and you're striving to improve your English for many reasons. I mean, is it something that you look at in a negative way? Is it very difficult for you, or do you look at it in a positive way?
Actually, when I started to learn English, it was like a scholarship from my faculty to study English at the British Council. But it was so difficult. You have to study Arabic language faculty and the English language in the British Council in the same time. It was very tiring, and it was very hard to do. And once I had the scholarship, I said, I'm not sure I can't do that. But I look to the goal or the achievement I will have. I'll have like the Arabic language faculty, the grade of Arabic language faculty, and also I'll have the language. I'll have the British British accent also.
Yeah.
So it's amazing, and I thought very well in that, and alhamdulillah I could do that. Yeah.
Yeah, great. It takes an effort, like you said. Great point. Thank you, brother. What about you, brother? I know you've taught English. You taught Arabic rather here in Egypt, I believe, Florida State University, and perhaps you may travel again to study again, being that this is your career path. What have you told the students in your class? At the university and other classes, Sunday, like you had the Islamic school on the weekends. And how do you deal with the students when they become negative?
Actually, encouraging students is a very basic part in teaching methodology. I would like to say it like openly and clearly, because too many people think teaching is difficult. No, once you have these principles in your mind, and they actually train you to how to encourage your students and all of this. I had too many students complaining about how difficult Arabic is, And once I had a student, she's from Catalonia, and she was complaining about verbs in Arabic are too long. And we had an example of the word بتشتغل, and she was complaining about pronouncing this. It was too long for her. I was teaching her, like, take it step by step. Say ba, bet, betsh, betsh, betishtagal, betishtagal, until you can pronounce it fully.
Right.
And she actually tried this, and she liked the idea, and she started applying this idea in all the pronunciation, and she could do it. That's the encouragement I was talking about. And once you agree with the students' idea that this is difficult, they feel like, I'm satisfied.
Right.
If you tell them, no, the language is easy, it's very easy, they feel like, I'm not stupid.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
But if you agree with them, I know it's difficult, but it's worth the effort and the attempt. They're just like logically convinced, you know.
Yeah, sure.
And they start applying, listening to your tips, and they start applying them.
Do you think that the positive students are generally more successful than the negative ones?
I think so.
And that's because they're optimistic. They are enthusiastic and eager to learn, as opposed to complaining.
Because we can have one example between a student who is positive because he knows that the language will benefit him in the future. He doesn't know how, but he's sure of this. And another student who's thinking that the language is not beneficial for him because it's not his field, or it's just a requirement for graduation or something like this. Both are in the same class. Who do you think is progressing more?
Well, the one that thinks it will benefit him. Yeah, of course, yeah.
Logically.
Yeah, logically. So you have to be positive and have a positive outlook. Brother Ahmed, you've had the experience of being a teacher and a student. So I think this helps you, right, when you in being positive. As a student, you face challenges and you were positive. So as a teacher, you have a good experience in this, don't you? When you see a student who becomes more negative, you can see that and encourage him, can't you?
Of course, I should do that. You know, it's my duty to motivate the student to achieve the best of Arabic language, and to achieve the language and to control it. And I hope, inshallah, if I face one, I will motivate him and guide him, inshallah.
Barakallahu feek. And I want to go back to Ahmed Ali as well, if we can pass him the mic. Brother, do you think here in the Middle East, do you think people generally are positive and have a positive outlook, or negative with a negative outlook, or is it kind of just a natural mixture?
I think the majority thinks negatively.
Why? Why do you think that? Maybe you're thinking negatively.
No,
I'm just teasing, but why? Why do you say that?
I think positively, but I think the majority in the Middle East think negatively.
Yeah, you know, that's a great question, and really, I hope to learn the answer to it, because sometimes you do feel that sometimes. Brother Mahmoud, you live in the States and here. I mean, what do you think?
Actually, it doesn't matter where you live, the States or the Middle East. I think the majority of the people, even in America, they are still thinking negatively, you know. I had a friend in America. He had a Cadillac and a swimming pool and a big house and a pool table, and he was always complaining about his financial status. And I was telling him, like, look around you and see how many things you have.
Right.
And he was still complaining to me. Whenever I ask him to just go hang out. I don't have money. I cannot afford it.
Right.
I was asking him, like, you cannot afford just going by car, just wandering around the streets. That's all I want. Just to see to go out and see the town. So that he was thinking negatively.
Right. Sure.
If he is thinking of bills and debt, what he is going to get. Guess what?
In this regard, the Egyptians are better, and the Arabs are better. You ask him, how are you? He lives in a small apartment. He'll say, alhamdulillah, shukrillah. In this regard, they're better.
I think so, because of religion.
But
still, the ratios is so high, because if I'm teaching like 10 people or more every day how to think positively, around me, like friends, strangers, family, and everyone, students, and they are still thinking negatively, I think that's a very big number.
You know, that's a good point. Brother Ahmed, I think here also, living in a big city, like we live in Cairo, the traffic, the congestion, the heat, this makes people irritable, and the constant problems that you see every day, I think this can be applied to people that live in big cities all around the world. And this kind of makes you think pessimistically. in a negative way through in small daily things, but this adds up.
I think the regimes in the Arab countries are responsible for this. If there is justice, if we are living in the state of law, everyone takes his right.
Yes.
I think most of the people will think positively.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
That does play a role. The environment, the political situation, your whether you feel oppressed or not, this makes you feel think differently, positively or negatively. I couldn't agree with you more. Whereas, like you said, in the United States, people have more material things, but they do things
still.
Yeah, not satisfied. So how can we strike a? So I guess it'd be nice to have a balance between the two, or what do you suppose?
And actually, there is a hadith about this. Like, if the man had a valley of gold, he wish he had two.
Right.
That's actually the rule that is governing the humanity.
Right, right.
People in the economic status in America is a lot higher than many Arab countries, but they're still complaining about their financial status and they cannot pay the bills.
Yeah, right.
And they get surprised when I tell them that my salary is like
a fraction of what they make.
of theirs.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, no, certainly.
And I'm still living. I'm still saying Alhamdulillah. I'm still having a good time with my family and friends.
Yeah,
it's again the idea of perspective, how you see the events around you.
And like you said, the law of attraction. But when you got the mic up there, you want to talk more? Go ahead.
I think when I told you before that the regimes are blamed or maybe blamed, but also the people may be blamed because the people should think positively, should work hard. Whatever the salary, yeah, there is a law of salaries here in Egypt or in the Arab countries, but you should work hard. You should exert all of your efforts in order to succeed.
And like you said in the beginning of the program, you're working for the sake of Allah, not for
and again, if I work for someone, maybe after 1 day or 2 days I will leave. But if I work for the sake of Allah, I will continue.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, brother.
And again, it changed your point of view or changed the angle how you see the events. Again, if you are working with a low salary, it's a fact. The fact will continue to exist.
Right, of course.
But just change your point of view and change the idea of I'm not working because my salary is low. No, change it to I will still work even if my salary is low.
Right, okay.
The same fact, and you're still alive, you're still working for a low salary.
Right.
But the change is in mind, and you will just be satisfied, like internally you'll be satisfied.
Like you said earlier in the program, it's how you receive the information. Like you also told me on the way here to the studio, in an Arabic sentence we have the verb, the fa'al, and then the doer of the action, the fa'al,
the maf'ul,
and the maf'ul. So the maf'ul has to change the way he's the subject.
The receiver of the action or the event.
So the maf'ul has to change how he receives the information. Is that right?
Yes.
So this is a nice Arabic language analogy for us, brother, to wrap up the program. I certainly appreciate your time, and you guys in the studio audience as well. I know you guys have many places to be. Thank you for choosing to be with us. Brother, I hope to have you back on the program in the future, inshallah, for more episodes. Thank you so much for your time. And you guys at home, thank you very much for watching. And don't forget the blessings of Allah that He has bestowed on you. So until next time, I leave you in the care of Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Perfect my Allah is and I praise Him. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi. Subhanallah, how perfect you are. Your mercy is great.